his title, A Mole is Doc's Best Friend. Help me welcome Jeremy Schoonmaker. A mole is Doc's best friend.
Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, today, you may not know it, but it's a special day in the world of chemistry. Around the world, chemists are celebrating a unit of measurement that helps them every day. It's called a mole. One of the chemists that's going to be celebrating today is my former high school chemistry teacher, who I lovingly refer to as Doc. Before I tell you about Doc, I want to build a baseline and tell you a little bit about a mole and where mole day comes from. About 200 years ago, there was an Italian scientist named Amedeo Avogadro. Now, Avogadro published a paper about molecular theory that ended up being really important. About 100 years later, scientists used the work that he started to establish this unit of measurement, the mole. A mole is equal to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. It's a very, very big number. It's a million, billion, billion. It's a huge number. Chemists use this to count atoms. And there's a really important relationship between a mole of atoms and a single atom. That relationship is this. If you have a mole of a type of atom, the mass of that mole, that group of atoms, is equivalent to the mass of a single atom of that type. Here's an example. If you have one atom of hydrogen, one atom, it weighs 4 atomic mass units. If you have a mole of hydrogen atoms, you have 4 grams. And by hydrogen, I mean helium. So you have 4 grams, 4 atomic mass units. This relationship is really important to chemists. And to honor the work that Avogadro put into creating this number, they named the number after him. 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd is known as Avogadro's number. Now the chemistry lecture is over, so everybody can take a deep breath, steady themselves. There's not going to be a test on this. The important thing to remember is that this is an important number, and because it's so important, chemists celebrate it. So from 6:02 a.m. to 6:02 p.m. on 10/23, October 23rd today, we celebrate Mole Day. Now, let me get back to Doc. I'm the youngest of 11 children, and all of us went to the same high school. So I had, being the youngest, I had my fair share of teachers who had taught my older siblings. Doc taught 7 of my 10 older siblings. I had heard stories about her growing up. I heard about this great teacher who celebrated some mystical holiday by throwing a party rather than giving homework. That's pretty good to me. I wanted to take that class. So, my sophomore year of high school, I enrolled in chemistry, made sure Doc was my teacher. The class was awesome. It was the best class I took through high school. The teacher was benevolent to her students and loved teaching chemistry, which I don't totally understand, but I'm happy about it. The thing that made it cool wasn't necessarily the lectures, but it was the chemistry demos. So maybe every week or so, Doc would put together a demo based on what we were learning about. The one that I remember the most is the combustion reaction demo. Now, combustion reactions have 2 important parts. They have a hydrocarbon, and they have oxygen. You put them together, explosion. It's fantastic. For this demo, oxygen was created by something very unexciting, so we're going to ignore that. The hydrocarbon, a compound made of hydrogen and carbon, was an atom. And here's what the hydrocarbon was on combustion reaction demo. A gummy bear. Now, a gummy bear is made of sugar. It's actually made of like 3 types of sugar, which is what makes it so good. And sugar is a hydrocarbon. So hydrocarbon plus oxygen, explosion. So we have a test tube. It's in a hood. The oxygen's in there. And Doc reaches in, puts the gummy bear in, and it lights up like a firework. You won't believe it. The gummy bear ignites in this most magnificent way. And it's so bright that when you look at it, you're blinded. You can't hardly even look at it. If you guys want to check this out, Google gummy bear combustion. It's going to be the best search of your whole day. Well, the gummy bear burns. The students learn the lesson, and a memory's created. And those are the best memories in school, is the ones that, the best lessons is that those create your memory and stay with you for a long time. And Doc had a ton of these in her class. Now, I was with Doc for 3 years. I took classes from her for 3 years. And in that time, the day that I looked forward to most wasn't Gummy Bear Combustion Day. It was Mole Day, October 23rd. Mole Day, Doc pulled out all the stops. 6:02 a.m., she met her AP Chemistry students at the local restaurant and bought them breakfast. Doc shows up wearing her Mole Day t-shirt, her Mole Day lapel pin, and she starts handing out Mole Day jokes for people to tell while we're waiting for pancakes. What is Avogadro's favorite candy bar? A Milky Way. What is Avogadro's favorite chip dip? Guacamole. What do you call a group of moles who are acting ridiculous? A bunch of molasses. Well, when you got to class, the next step was judging the aluminum foil mole sculpture contest. Students get a mole of aluminum foil to sculpt a little mole. Next comes the mole jello eating contest, where you eat a mole of jello like a mole would, with no hands. Next came the Mole Day scavenger hunt, where we run around the school and find interesting numbers about the school and convert them to moles. How many moles of students go to Doherty High School? How many moles of stairs are there at Doherty High School? Winners of these competitions would get cool Mole Day prizes. Mole Day stickers, Mole Day balloons, Mole Day temporary tattoos, and maybe if you're lucky, even a pocket periodic table. To round the whole day out, Doc brings in a plate of sugar cookies that she baked at home using her Mole Day cookie cutter. This is the best day of the year for chemistry students. Well, it's been 10 years since I've taken a class from Doc, but I still remember the lesson she taught me. I still remember Mole Day, and I still feel the impact that she had in my life. Doc had a love of chemistry and science that I found that I had, and it helped me understand the way that I think and the kind of jobs and actions that I want to be a part of in life. It's brought me to my current career, and I think it's going to continue to lead me through the rest of my life. So every year, on October 23rd, I not only celebrate the number that is a chemist's best friend, but I also remember to follow one of the most important of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt always honor the one who introduced thou to Mole Day. Thank you.